If you're not using AI for your college essays, you're behind the curve. And if you're using AI the wrong way, your essay will sound generic, or worse yet, it'll get flagged for plagiarism. But if you use it the right way, you'll think faster, structure smarter, and uncover the deeper insights that admissions officers actually care about. In this video, I'm going to show you practical, ethical workflow for using ChatGPT as your coach and not your ghostwriter. Here's the rule we'll follow the whole time: your story, your words, your voice. We'll walk through step by step, picking storylines, choosing narrative versus thematic outlines, drafting multiple versions, stress testing your so what insights, and running a check on whether you've had your values and emotions covered. By the end, you'll have a draft that is unmistakably you. So the first step is to begin with your raw materials and complete them even before you start, right? So start with this video, the hidden strategy behind your college essay success. That's where you identify your themes, your core values, because ChatGPT actually doesn't know what drives you, right? It's only as good as the raw material you feed it, right? Where ChatGPT really shines is as a brainstorming partner, helping you unlock new angles, sharpening your stories, pushing your ideas further, right? So a quick note, every time I write a prompt, I use one key line. Please don't rewrite this for me. Yes, ChatGPT can produce extremely polished sentences, but relying on them is very risky, right? Admissions officers and even plagiarism software can spot when your essay doesn't sound like you, right? It's not worth the risk, because if you get caught, it's a certain rejection. So again, you don't want to start with a blank screen. Start with your own raw materials, all right? You're gonna upload your brainstorming draft of all those exercises I've given you, your honors and awards list, right? Your branding personas from the hidden strategy behind college essay success. And if you've done any free writing, which is actually very, very good to start with, then you have all your materials ready and you can plug them in. Your results are only as strong as your inputs, so don't cut corners when you're creating your raw materials, right? If your raw materials are incomplete, your essay is not going to be any good. So put the full time into working up the right raw materials up front, okay? So step 2 is to look for angles for your raw materials. So for example, right here, I have uploaded, for simplicity's sake, just a questionnaire and some raw material that the student had put together, okay? So I'm putting in my prompt here, which says that I've shared various aspects of my life. Can you help me basically come up with storylines that might be strong for my Common App? There's a lot of other details I've inserted into the prompt. Remember, the more details you tell, the better it'll be when it returns your answer, okay? So here it goes. ChatGPT says they've read it. So the first one it says is, let's do a transformation through ultra running. Let's talk about Woody the Labrador and talk about discovering compassion. Let's talk about how you went from refuge to entrepreneurial dreams, okay? So all of these ideas, you go through, you figure out which one you like. Once you select one, you're now gonna talk about the next part, which is how do you structure your story, okay? So this is where the outline comes into play, right? You need to tell ChatGPT to use anecdotes. You need it to tell you what personality it's going to use and all of the such, right? So and I've said my first option is to talk about a Common App essay, like a narrative. Make sure that you have those elements we talked about, right? Transformation, passion, anecdote, core qualities, lessons learned, right? So here I've sent it in. ChatGPT has given me an outline now that I can use. Now, do not use this dumbly and blindly, right? You're gonna go through and you're gonna say, okay, yeah, here's a good hook. Introduce Woody as the heartbeat of my childhood. The second part is talk about Woody's illness in the final months. Then the Act 3, talk about how grief transformed into action, right? you still need to go back and make sure it's hitting those key elements of what you want in your essay, right? This is just a brainstorming partner. It is giving you ideas that you can use to better structure your own essay, but it is not the answer, okay? And do not use it as that. So at this point, it's gonna feel like maybe I should just ask ChatGPT to write my essay. After all, ChatGPT would have read thousands of essays. In fact, if you do ask AI to write it, the first draft to the naked eye is gonna sound so good. Better than probably you would have put together on your first draft. But student, beware. You would have definitely done yourself a disservice if you use this essay. It won't capture everything that you need as part of an essay. Plus, it sounds good, but when you dig deeper, it's missing a lot of those emotions because it doesn't actually know who you are, right? Step 4. So while you write your draft, use your outline, but write 2 to 3 different options, right? Figure out which one seems like it's going in the right direction. You can choose to focus on that. You can focus on both, but trust me, no piece of writing is going to go to waste. Because of the sheer number of essays you need to write for the US, you're going to be able to reuse it. But only if you take a shot at it and write different angles will you figure out which one you think is strong enough to be the main essay. Remember your headline. Step 5 is identifying the so what. If you remember, this is one of those critical aspects of knowing what are your insights, right? You need to have those key questions. Why does anybody care about this moment? What did I really learn? How did this essay shape the way I asked? Or how do I see the world today because of this moment, right? You would need to now upload your draft, whatever you have written so far in your free writing, the one that you've selected. And here you can put in one more chat, right? Here you can put in one more prompt for ChatGPT. You can say, I tried to tell you my insights in this rough draft. In case there's any areas that you couldn't understand about how I behaved, how I changed, what I learned, can you highlight those in bold, okay? Again, it's not going to be exact, but all we need is a little bit of help to get us to the points where we might have missed. Because sometimes when you keep reading something over and over and over, you don't realize what is missing, right? So this will kind of be your brainstorming partner in writing this essay, okay? The next one, after you're convinced that you have enough insights, generally what happens is your emotions have naturally fit into this because you are telling somebody the deepest part of you, okay? Step 5. So once you're comfortable with what your edits are for the insights, you should think about what are your core values and emotions and have they been inserted into this essay, okay? Generally, once you have your key insights, your emotions would naturally have appeared, but you can just run one more check, okay? So in this case, I would have said, I tried to convey my personality as these key traits. Can you tell me, are there any places in this draft where you see contradictions or you see that my personality is not showcased? Again, please do not rewrite this for me. Just bold those areas in the draft, okay? So hopefully these 4 prompts help you kind of come up with a stronger essay. You can use the same for your supplements. Again, the ChatGPT will return only what you have already fed it. So make sure if you're talking about your core qualities, you've actually given him the core qualities that you want it to return, all right? So here's my final thoughts. Always go back and check, does your essay actually show a clear purpose, a genuine passion, vivid anecdotes, your core qualities, right? If any of these are missing, you gotta go back and revise. I have a video on this that I've linked at the top. Take a look, that'll help you remember what those 5 key points are. And a quick word on AI. Tools like ChatGPT can be incredibly powerful, but only if you use them wisely. Don't copy the sentences it gives you. Your essay is going to sound generic, and you could even get in trouble with the admissions committee, which is certain to result in a rejection. Instead, use ChatGPT as a brainstorming partner, a way to spark ideas, structure your thoughts, refine your language. If you ignore it completely, you're going to be missing out, okay? Because most people today are using ChatGPT to push their writing to the next level. So that's how you use AI the right way. Remember, what will actually make admissions officers stop and pay attention isn't polished sentences, right? It's your insights, your growth, your voice. If you're still wondering how to actually put your application together, I cover it step by step in my course, The Application Blueprint, because your application is much more than an essay. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit subscribe and check out my other videos on essay strategy and profile building. And if you want a step-by-step guidance with personalized feedback, book a free consultation using the link below.